Hey you guys, it's me Lola. Come on into the Facebook room and let's get this conversation started. So I want to talk to people that are interested in starting a podcast or relaunching a podcast. If that's you, let me just tell you, you're in the right place. Because I'm going to talk to you about it briefly, like some things I wish I would have known starting out that have made it easier for me now that I know it. And then also why, as a creator or like as someone who has an online business or a small business or creative entrepreneur, why you need a podcast and why it's good for you. So yeah, go ahead and come into the Periscope room. I'm sorry, not Periscope, I'm on Facebook tonight. Come on into the Facebook room and come in quickly. So who's in here? Go ahead and tell me hey, so I can see that you're on and you're talking. And if you have a question, feel free to ask me the question and I'll definitely answer your question while we're on here. What's up, Renee Brown? Who else is on? Let me know you're in here. So today, again, I'm just going to tell you something that I wish I would have known starting out podcasting, and then also why you just need one if you're a person that has anything you're offering, if you're a creator, if you're offering any type of service to anyone, if you're a small business, if you're an online business, why you need a podcast, okay? I don't know if you all have been and checked out our latest podcast episode on the Smoking Profit podcast and also blog on the smokingprofit.com. It's actually the easy way to start a podcast. So I'm not going to get into all of that stuff tonight that we talked about there, me and my husband Dante, or my husband and I. My grandmother would correct me if she heard me saying that. But you guys can go and check that out and listen to it, and then also read it and reference it as you're building or relaunching your podcast. So what's up, Priscilla? So for the people that are on here, who's interested in creating and setting up or in relaunching their podcasts? Go ahead and just let me know if that's you by giving hearts or either just dropping a comment down there and just letting me know. And for those that don't really know, I like conversation. I like to talk. So that's why I'm doing a live stream so I can actually talk to you all. So I'm going to be asking questions tonight and definitely wanting a response. Because I could pre-record a video. Me and my husband have a super dope camera. I can pre-record a video and upload that and it'll be very pretty. I can edit it and put words on it and make it nice for you. But I like to do the live conversations and just come on and talk so that you can talk back to me. All right, so Renee Brown said that she wants to launch a podcast. Awesome. And Larry Williams is on. Grace and Peace. Apostle Sonia is on. Grace and Peace. So awesome. Now, Jackie Bedi, I called you Bedi. Sorry about that. Mindo, Grace and Peace. Hope you and your wife and family are doing well. Oh, my fam is on. Rebecca, Grace and Peace to you. I didn't even see your name pop up there. Okay, so for those that are interested in like doing a podcast, do you know what you want to talk about? Thank you, Alma. I went and picked up my husband from the bus stop and he was like, oh, you put your hair on? I said, yeah, I didn't. My hair is actually like twisted up and I was like, I didn't want to deal with it or anything. So I was like, this is what we're going to do. Yeah, thank you. You guys are getting me distracted because as I look at my hair being this color, I'm like, I wish I wouldn't have dyed my hair. For those of you all that don't know, I dyed my hair recently for the first time. And although I like it, I'm like, it's more maintenance. Like I'm having to do more to my hair and that's not cool because I don't like to do my hair that much, to be honest with you. And then it's just like, this is not my hair color and I want my black hair back. So I kind of am doing that right now. Kind of reset, loving the hair. Yeah. Grace and Peace, Mindo. Hope you're doing well. But yeah, do you know what you want to talk about on your podcast? So this is something that I wish I really would have paid attention to, like when I first started. Let me just tell you guys how I started. So my random self is probably driving to work one day and I felt like God just breathing on me and telling me to start a blog. And he wanted me to write my conversations that I had with him in a form where anyone in the world could see it and in a way that was super simple, that was super easy so that believers and non-believers could come on and understand it and hear his heart or whatever conversations I was having with God. So when this happened, I talked to my forever spiritual leader about it, and I was just like, okay, I don't know what to do. And then I was tolling over a name, and then God gave me the Smoking Prophet, and I was like, okay, God, well, if this name is available in 2 weeks, then I'll go ahead and buy the stuff and set all of this up. So I ended up doing that, and I just started the Smoking Prophet. So I really didn't have an objective when I started. That's the point of me telling you that, if you're wondering. I didn't have an objective. I didn't have like a mission. I didn't have like a why statement. I didn't have all of the stuff that I'm now understanding, right? I had none of that. I was just like, God told me to do this. He just wants me to share my conversations that I have with him, with the world. So I went and started researching, learning, and just set it up. Okay, so that's what I did. That's how the Smoking Prophet came along. And then from there, the blog came along. The podcast came along a little bit later, where it was just like, okay, do that, but do it here. And I was like, okay, so I'll do that. And I just went to SoundCloud and set it up on SoundCloud, and then kind of started going on from there. So my first like podcast episodes, like they are like, I'm just coming on like, hey, it's Lola creative, and they're like 3 minutes or 5 minutes. I think I've even like taken some of them down because they had copywritten music in them. So I took it off and took it down because I didn't want any problems, especially as I'm growing. Apostle Sonia, yeah, I actually am good with my name. Michelle J. Miller is working on all of my stuff and securing my brand and securing the bag. She's an attorney, and she has her own business, the MJ Miller law firm. I don't know if it's Miller Boston or what, but yeah, we're protecting everything that the Lord has given us. Ain't nobody playing games with life, okay? And this mission. So from there, I just started the podcast, and I really didn't have an objective. I really didn't think about who am I talking to, who am I serving, what am I serving them with, or anything at all. So the first thing that I wish I would have done when starting out podcasting is actually thought about what I wanted to talk to my audience about. So for those of you all that are starting out and you're planning on doing this, even take this information that I'm giving you and apply it to your business, your blog, if that's something that you want to start. You need to have a set of content themes that you want to talk about, okay? You need to have stuff that you want to be known for. So if you're an entrepreneur, then the stuff that you probably want to talk about is going to be business stuff, it's going to be startup stuff, it's going to be how to work stress-free and make more money, or maybe how to come off your job. You're going to want to have an idea of what you want to talk about, okay? And you're going to want to plan those things out. You don't want to just come on and be like, okay, let me just go and just do it week by week, day by day, figuring out what I'm going to do. So that's one thing that I wish I would have thought about before I started. I would have had everything in place and just organized, like, okay, I'm going to talk about this. So like now, with my brand, we cover spirituality, we cover creativity, and we cover things that are social stuff, like cultural stuff. So with those three themes that we talk about, I have specific things for each of those themes that we cover. So one can be like faith, one is like purpose over here in the spirituality bubble, and then over here in the creativity bubble, I got a lot of stuff for like creative entrepreneurs, business stuff, how to do things like podcasts. And then over here in our social bubble, then we talk about like relationships, families, things like how to talk to strangers. That's on the podcast. We deal with that, or stuff to help you with your career and work. We have a video vlog that we did recently, 6 reasons you didn't get the job. So now everything is just super organized, and it just makes it so much easier. So that's the first thing you want to figure out if you're planning on starting like a podcast. And also, again, apply that to your business brand or whatever you want to do. You want to have an idea of what type of content you want to talk about. And the content that you want to cover primarily is stuff that you're going to be an expert in. Grace and peace, Toshiko. Grace and peace, Amanda. You don't want to talk about something that you're learning yourself. Like, you can do that, but your ability to talk about it is going to be very, very limited. You want to talk about something that you're an expert in. And like sometimes I'll talk about stuff that I'm not like super, super familiar with, but it is not the foundation of what I'm doing. Grace and peace, Devin Mays. So when you're planning and you're saying, I want to do a podcast, figure out what type of content you want to talk about. I would say start out with 3 to 5 different themes. Okay, so that could be, name something, someone on here, let's interact together. Tell me what type of content you would be interested in talking about. Okay, so while someone is doing that, because I know someone's going to respond and they're going to play the game tonight, you think about what type of content you want to do and you pick 3 to 5 themes that you want to cover. Okay, so that can be like business, creative entrepreneurship. It can be whatever. Once you pick those 3 to 5 themes, then you break them down even more. Okay, so helping young people overcome rejection. Let me type that so I can try to keep up with this. Thank you, Devin. I appreciate you. I actually like that. So this is how I would break down probably helping young people overcome rejection. What's up, Brenda G? Hey to you. Young people overcome rejection. I would start by Googling that, to be honest. So let's see what we find on Google. Helping young people overcome rejection. Because when you're searching on Google, you're welcome. We help each other, Devin. That's what we're here for. But when you search things on Google, Google can give you good insight on what people's problems are, and you want to solve problems. So it's good to do that from time to time. You know, everybody asks Google everything, right? Like, why is the sky blue? You know what I'm saying? People go on there and ask questions. So it really, really will help you to identify pain points that people are dealing with, especially in relation to the topics and the content you want to cover. So let me see. As I Google helping young people overcome rejection, I'm finding helping your teen overcome rejection. So that's letting me know immediately, probably a lot of teens are going to be dealing with this because I'm seeing a lot of stuff with like teens. And then I'm seeing social rejection, how to help kids deal with rejection, 5 ways to help your child deal with rejection. So immediately, all of these content ideas are popping up for me. When you talk about helping young people overcome rejection, you have 2 parts to that. You have a parent side, so you can create content for parents to help their children. You have a side that's for the child, so you can create content that's specifically for that age group and speaking to them in the first person. And then you can also probably do something for educators, Devin, where you have like school administration and stuff like that dealing with helping kids in this specific area. So that's 3 things I would break down right there already. And then I would break down probably the different types of rejection. Social rejection, family rejection, right? Dealing with rejection at work. You see how we're taking this content, this one idea, and we're breaking it down. It's going to make it so much easier. And then these are dealing with people's problems. So now you're resolving a problem and people are going to want to listen to what you're saying. And it's good because you're helping the world, right? Now, I'm going to tell you guys a tool that you can use. It used to be free, but I think in October they started charging for it. So, Amanda Lang, I am going to look at that. So, the tool is called Keywords Everywhere. It's a paid tool now, so to see specific stuff, you have to pay for it. But I would suggest you guys check it out. So it's called Keywords Everywhere. And what it does when you use it with Google and you type in whatever you're looking for, it shows you what other related topics are being searched with the one thing that you're looking for. And if you pay for it, it will show you how many hits. Yes, that's it, Devin Mays. Thank you. It will also show you how many hits that is, how many hits that item is receiving on the internet or that keyword. So like how many people are searching for that one thing. Sorry, I was fumbling there for a little bit. So that's really a good thing, because if you have a topic where only like a few thousand people are searching for it on the internet, that shows you that it may be kind of niche, But then it's also like, do I really want to go after something that only 2,000 people are searching for in a world with billions? Or do I want to go after something that a lot of people are searching for? So this is the benefit of the tool. Now, the reason that I just mentioned this is because this is also giving me other content ideas for, let me remember what I searched, helping young people overcome rejection. Because it showed me some key things that people are also searching for on the internet as it relates to this. It's showing me how to deal with rejection in high school. You hear that? Helping your teenager deal with disappointment. Middle school rejection. Rejection activities. Tween rejection. Did you see all of that? And then here are some things that people are also searching for as it's related to this. How to cheer up a teenage girl. My son got rejected by a girl. Psychological effects of rejection. So when you're starting out podcasting, also use this for your blog if you want to do a blog, or if you have a business or a brand. You think about what you want to cover, what topics you want to talk about. Like Devin just gave us that one example, right? And then you search that on the internet and you start looking at what other things that people are searching for as it's related to your topic. And that's going to give you a ton of content ideas. So when you're starting out, I would say start out with about 3 to 5 main things that you want to cover. Start simple and grow big, right? Start with about 3 to 5 main things, or if you have like a team that you're working with, of course you can do more. But start there and then go from there. And the tool that we also use was keywords everywhere. The thing about the internet that's so cool, like Google is using something called a guided search. And all of these search engines are doing this. This is where you're typing in something and it'll kind of finish your sentence for you. That's a guided search. It's helping to show you what other people are looking for on the internet. And those Google searches are a great way to see what people's problems are and what these pain points that people are having that you want to target, so that you can start creating content to answer that stuff and answer those questions. So yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you there. And then I wanted to tell you this too. That's the one thing that I wish I would have, known and been more aware of and intentional about when I started podcasting. But this too, that how often should a podcast be done? We do hours weekly. There's some people that do them twice a week. There's some people that do them daily, depending on what it is. I would just say whatever you have time for, and whatever you have time for, and for you to be consistent. So whatever you do, just be consistent in it. If you're going to do them once a week, do them once a week. I probably would not do a podcast like once a month. When I first started, I did my podcast maybe like once a month or once every 2 months, and I wasn't super consistent with it. And because of that, I didn't have a lot of traction. So you definitely want to keep it consistent, but at least do a minimum of once a week with your podcast. Also, something else I was going to answer there. When you first start your podcast, and this is actually on thesmokingprofit.com. This is a part I put on there, but that question that Devin asked me was not on there. When you first start your podcast, when you first launch it, or even if you're relaunching it, you do want to start with a few episodes. So that's why creating a content agenda and content themes is going to help you to start with a few episodes. It's going to help you to stay organized, and it's also going to help you to push out content consistently. And then you'll attract the people that you want to attract because you're talking about this theme stuff that's around their problem. Okay. Someone asked a question. Let me go back up to it because I said I would. Amanda Lang said, I'm thinking about starting a podcast, spiritual life coaching, since I have my certification. I think that's awesome. Mainly for women. I think it would be dope. And I think that anyone who has an online business, a nonprofit, anyone really who has a mission and something that they want to share with the world should use a podcast or a blog or a vlog. I really, really think you should do that. Grace and peace, Uncle King, and that's my family. Candace Pearl, hope all is well for you and your family. Jacqueline Taylor, thanks for coming on. But the reason that I think you should do that is because it sets you up to serve the people that you were created to serve, so to speak, and also to establish yourself as their personal problem solver. Once you do that, once you start answering their questions, answering the things that they're looking for, they'll be drawn to you, and that'll help you just to push your mission out even more. And if you're like a business, you should especially do that. Okay. I think that churches should do like podcasts. More of them should. I've seen some on there, but you definitely should do more because people are streaming like so much now. And I know me, I like to do multiple things at once, even though I shouldn't. So I like to drive, and I used to have a long commute to work where I would drive like 45 minutes to work, and I would turn on a podcast in the car in the afternoon. In the mornings, I didn't really like listening to too much. Sometimes I would sit in silence or I would listen to music. Because like in the mornings when I first wake up, first 40 minutes, I don't want to talk to nobody. After that, I'm super chipper. I'll talk to you and stuff. But first 40 minutes, you better leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? Grace and peace, Tonka. Grace and peace, Fred Brown. So, yeah, it's definitely a good vehicle to get your message out there and to serve like the people you were created to serve. So does anybody else have any questions? And while I'm waiting for someone to drop a question, I just want to tell you that I have like a ton of information that me and my husband put together that's available for free on thesmokingprofit.com. The easy way to start your podcast. I cover everything on there. I'm serious. You guys are laughing, but I'm serious. I cover everything on there, like all of the basics to get you started, from choosing your show name to why you need to do a podcast, to creating your cover art and cover art requirements, to choosing a podcast category, to creating content. I give some more specific tips on there. And then even the technology stuff. So like what's really required. So let me just give you a little bit more while you're on here. When you start a podcast and you do all of the easy stuff like pick your name, you need to go and actually create a home for your podcast, so to speak. Your podcast home is your RSS feed. And you can either create one on your own or you can just go through a third-party host and have them set it up. Now, once you set up your RSS feed, you push that information over, you submit that information to the different podcast platforms like Apple, Google, Spotify, and all of them. Yeah, you got to do that yourself. But on the website, the blog, I have the links directing you on where to go to do that once you get your RSS feed set up. Let me see. Anchor FM lets you do podcasts for free. They never charge you anything. And they will distribute your podcast for you automatically. So you don't have to initially go in and submit your RSS feed to Apple or Google or Spotify. I think it covers those 3 platforms, which is cool. But I've done I'm a little bit hesitant about Anchor FM, just a little bit for some reasons that I was researching on the internet, and I'll have to get like all of the full details before I give my recommendation to do it or to not do it. Also, when you submit your RSS feed for distribution to Apple and Google and all of them, you just do that one time. So once you do it the one time, it's going to automatically filter that information over when you have new uploads each and every time. Okay, so Alma said, I would like to do a fashion blog and podcast, a budget-friendly one, something to uplift women. I think that's cool. I think that one of the other first things that you should do when you decide you want to do something is find someone that's doing it and begin to look and see what they're doing. Find someone that's doing it. Look to see what they're doing. I hate to say look at your competition because I don't do all that competing stuff. It's community over competition here, but look at your peers, okay? Look at the people that are doing the same thing that you want to do. That's like if you're looking for a mentor, right? You're going to find a mentor that's doing what you want to do, and you're going to start studying from them. Consider these people to be your mentors from far away. So what I would do, Alma, is find someone that's doing that, a fashion blog and podcast that also has an inspirational spin on it, like pulling people's beauty out from within. And I would start looking at what they're doing and then start structuring what you want to do and find a cool service statement and keep it moving. Grace and peace, Lee Jones. You're welcome. Does anyone else have any questions? So again, I'm just going to let you know that if you want to set up a podcast, the easy way to start your podcast is available for free on thesmokingprofit.com. It includes a checklist because I'm simple and I like checklists to tell me what I have to do and what I have to mark off. So it includes a checklist, And it also includes different thing about like editing, recording equipment, and that type of stuff. So it's pretty exhaustive, but we still kept it short. If you don't want to read it, you can listen to it. It's available on the Smoking Profit podcast. But I also would suggest that you just go and you look at it and reference it. What are some of the no-nos of podcasting? What are some of the no-nos? First one would be, don't put music and stuff that you haven't paid for on your podcast. It could cause you to get in big trouble, but that's with anything. So like you have a blog and stuff, you just want to pay attention that you're either posting your own images that you paid for and that you own, your own music, your own voice, or either if you're posting other content that you paid for it and that you've read the disclaimer, if it's like if it has a Creative Commons license on it. So Creative Commons just lets anybody basically come and take the stuff for personal use. So you just want to look at all those details. Is this license covering what I want to use it for? Is this available for personal use or commercial use? Because some things will say you can use it personally, but it'll say you can't use it commercially. So then for me, I'd have a problem because I'm a business. So it's not personal. You know what I'm saying? So that's one major no-no. Like, just pay attention to that stuff. And yeah, you may start out small, but you're going to get big, and you don't want anyone to be like, wait a minute, that person is using my stuff, and then they try to come for you, you know? So just have integrity. That's with anything. Just have integrity about what you do. If you use something and it's not yours, pay for it. If you're inspired by something, say that it inspired you. Like, shout out to Lizzo for her song Truth Hurts. There's been some controversy with it, but she gave artists in maybe England credit for one of the lyrics in her song. She said that she never saw the statement that this girl put out with the lyric initially on Twitter when she wrote it, like years ago. She saw it in a meme, and she used it in the song, and she's come back and she's given the girl songwriting credit on it. So just have integrity with whatever you do. That's like the first thing. So Lee Jones, if you're interested in starting a podcast, some of the first things that I talked about is the one thing that I wish I would have done starting out. Because when I started my stuff, I just kind of started because the Lord told me to start, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I just started. But the one thing I would focus on is what type of content you want to talk about. Grace and peace, Sonia or Sonia. I don't know how to pronounce your name yet. I apologize, Trotter. Hope you're doing well. But the first thing you want to do is just pay attention. What type of content do I want to deal with? Okay. What do I want to talk about? And talk about stuff that you have expertise in. Talk about stuff that you've mastered, because it's going to flow. And then Devin Mays put up an example of what she would want to talk about, and we went through Google and we did just a regular Google search, and we broke her one statement down into several content ideas, because when you search for stuff on Google, it's showing you things that other people are searching for, and people are usually searching for stuff to resolve their problems. So answer people's problem, answer people's pain points, figure out what type of content you want to talk about, create some content themes, and from there plan how you're going to do it and go. Okay, so that's like the main thing. But to see more stuff, go to thesmokingprofit.com and look at our most recent post, which is the easy way to start a podcast. You can also listen to that on our podcast, the Smoking Profit podcast, which is available on all platforms that you listen to podcasts at. Anybody else got anything else before we get off of here? I had an amazing time with my family today, you guys. Sorry, I just got to call you guys. We went to a curriculum night at school. Oh, I got to get off of here. I'm sorry. I forgot I had a phone call scheduled for tonight. Ain't that terrible? Yeah, it's thesmokingprofit.com. But yeah, I went to a curriculum night, and it was just super amazing stuff. How long do you suggest it should be? That's a good question. You really want to start out and see what your audience likes. Okay? So you can do a 5-minute message. You can do a 15-minute message. You can do an hour's message, but you want to start and see what your audience likes. And someone just asked a question, is there a way you can track your popularity or most popular content? There is. You look at your podcast analytics. So Amanda Lang and Mindo Tillman, your questions kind of go together. How long do you suggest it should be? I suggest you start out with maybe like a 20, 30-minute message tops. and you see how your audience digests it. And you look at your analytics. And when you look at your analytics, you can see how long people, it depends on what you're looking through and what hosting platform you start with. Let me break that down a little bit more because I know what I'm talking about in my head, but everybody on here doesn't know. So remember I told you that when you have a podcast, you have an RSS feed and then you get a host. Okay. So if you plan on not creating your RSS feed, which is your actual podcast, you need a host. When you go to your hosts like Libsyn, Podbean, SoundCloud, Anchor FM, when you go and get a host, each host will have their own way of showing you analytics. Some are free, and then some companies will charge you an additional amount to show you analytics. So when you look at their analytics, they're going to tell you different things. Some will tell you how long people are actually staying on and listening to your message. So that's a way that you can gauge how long your podcast should be. Because if you start a podcast and you do an hour-long message and you see that people stay on, then you're like, okay, I can wing it with a 40 to 50-minute podcast. I can do that. Or if you go on and you see that you did a 30-minute message and they only stay on for about 5 minutes and get off, then that means that it could be a little bit too long. Or it could mean this, that you've given that message the wrong title and people came on thinking they were going to get one thing and they got something else and they clicked off of it. All right. I think that's the last question I can answer because I actually forgot that I had a phone call tonight. So I'm getting off of here. I love you guys. Go and check out the podcast on the easy way to start a podcast. Also go and check out the blog so that you can see the stuff there. If you have any more specific questions, I'll probably do another Q&A next week. So go ahead and just inbox me any questions you have between now and next Friday. Inbox me any questions you have and I'll make it a point to answer your questions. Okay? I love you all. Have the most amazing night.